Hello there. And with the revving of the motorcycle outside, this is a Gump report. You never know what you're going to get. Now, this is going to be a bit of a controversial video. This is about, as you can see the title below, the Alberto Del Rio situation. Alberto is back to wrestling after the incident that took him out of wrestling, and he had to go to court to clear his name. Now, I know a lot of people don't like him. The Slug Daddy ain't gonna like him. I'm sure Just Alex ain't gonna like him. And there's a lot of people not gonna like him because of how the situation between him and Paige happened. There ain't no lie. We know there's problems between him and Paige. There was probably abuse going on between him and Paige. And I know people are not fond of him. I don't know the full story between him and Paige. I'm not gonna say I do. I'm not gonna say that he's nothing but a piece of shit. I know for a fact, as someone who's been through an abusive relationship, been through it. Actually, I've been through two. And let's make it very clear. I'm not an angel. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I made issues. I made mistakes. I have. I've never hit my wife when I was married. I never tried to make no big trouble between her and me. I just wasn't good enough for her. I have my issues and so did she. And there ain't no lie. I divorced my wife. I did. She left me, yes, but I legitimately divorced her. And that was that. But when it comes down to it, if there's abuse going on, some cases, I'm not saying all, there's abuse on both sides. Now, I'm not saying Paige did it to Alberto, but we don't know the full scope of how bad the abuse was. Was it mutual to a certain extent? Or was it just fully one-sided? Or was there a little bit between the both of them? Alberto way more than her. That could be possible too. I'm just saying this to make it in context of what I'm going to say. I know you're not going to agree with me 100%. I understand. But as a guy who grew up in an abusive home, I was abused as a child. I went and married someone who had mental issues and went and married into an abusive relationship where legitimately I almost tried to kill myself because the abuse that was going on was so bad. Okay? I tried to kill myself because I felt like I was a total loser and I didn't make her happy, or anyone else for that matter. Almost took my own life. Now, if you guys ever want to hear about that story, just leave a comment below saying, dude, you almost killed yourself? What happened? Or is it safe to talk about it? And yes, it is safe. That happened when I was 27. That was back in 1998. Not 88. 98. I am not that same person. I'm fine if you want to ask about it. But I can tell you as someone who's been on that side of it. When it comes to this, I am not 100% saying that Alberto is innocent. I want to make it clear. I'm not telling you Alberto Del Rio is innocent what he did to Paige or any other person before her or a little bit after before the incident that he was accused of. I'm not telling you that. I'm not telling you that he is innocent of abuse to Paige or receiving abuse from her. I'm not telling you that. He might have abused her. He might have abused her a lot or little. We don't know the full scope. But I'm trying to say this. When you look at what happened in his case with this woman where he was accused of kidnapping her, which he did not, because she admitted on Instagram that she didn't, and that exonerated him. And the case is closed. He's been exonerated because she gave in and said, you know what, I was wrong and I shouldn't have done it. Now, mind you, people would say, well, maybe she was forced into it. Maybe she just had no choice because they were harassing her. I don't think so. Because when it comes down to it, she would have filed it while she's at court with them. In any type of situation, if she was being harassed, and understand, kidnapping and being kidnapped or possible kidnapping is not a joke. If they think he did it, they would keep someone and make sure that she had anything she needed to make sure she be safe. Now, I'm not saying she wouldn't have been kidnapped again. I'm just saying that if someone was harassing her, it would have been in the court case. They would have shown proof of it. No, she quit lying and exonerated the man. And probably from Instagram, when they brought it in front of the judge, they had probably had to ask her, did you produce this on Instagram? And if she said, yes, I was lying, then that's why the case was ended. Not just because she said it, it's because they were in court at the time. And that when that happened, it had to be brought up in the judge. The judge had to look at it and say, hey, did you do this on Instagram? This is being brought up as information admissible in court because she was recorded saying it. Yeah, she had to agree to it. That's the only reason why the case is gone. So now Alberto Del Rio is now back to wrestling. He's opening his own promotion and supposedly in Texas, and he has a partner and he's going to work again. But here's the reason why I brought this up. Right now, as it stands, guys, last year we had the Me Too movement for wrestling, which nailed a lot of men and a few women. Not many women, very, very, very small amount of women, and a huge amount of men. Many of them were valid. Many of them were not. Look at what's going on with Velveteen Dream. Whether he's innocent or not is irrelevant and didn't go through court yet. And the WWE, you actually think they would have kept him? Remember, they're an openly traded company. Any type of bad publicity like that, they get rid of it. Look what happened. Look what happened with Enzo Amore. Remember, Enzo was accused, but there was no proof yet. Not until he was taken to court. The minute he was taken to court, he was immediately fired. But when he went through court and found that he was proven innocent, the WWE never brought him back. And to be honest, after what he went through in the WWE, he didn't want to be brought back. Or was he? I can't even remember. It's been a while since that happened. But Enzo was fired from the company because it was eventually brought to court. They did not keep him after that. And Velveteen Dream, he was never accused in court. It's all accusations online. No one has actually brought it up yet. But the WWE released him because of attitude problems. He was not released because of the allegations. But because of these allegations, his career is a huge mess. And his attitude doesn't help. Comes to Alberto Del Rio. I'm not condoning anything that he did if he highly abused Paige, beat her, did whatever to her, any woman before her, or any woman after her. I'm not condoning it. I refuse to condone it. That is wrong. As someone who's been abused, not just as a child, but was with a very emotionally unstable woman who's a good woman. I want to make this clear. And I'll admit, as the years has gone, I was angry about what had happened. I really felt guilty that I couldn't make her happy and be a good husband. And then when it was all over, I was angry. And there were parts that I did blame her. But I understood that she wasn't a bad woman. And I understand now that both of us have issues. I got issues. I got depression and anxiety. I probably had depression since I was a child from my own mother. So I understand her point. And I'm saying this now. I don't condone what he's probably done. As someone who's on the opposite side, not the one who committed the abuse, but who received it in more than one relationship, one as a child and one in my marriage. I'm not saying that he deserves to be forgotten about what he did. But I'm saying this. This was wrong, and I'm glad he's exonerated for what happened of being accused of kidnapping. Now understand, this is important. When someone does something like this, it doesn't make a difference if the person beforehand is guilty of something else or accused of something else. If they didn't do it, they should not be accused on top of it, even though it would be easier to say it. Alberto Del Rio, if he is a womanizer, yeah, he is, but he doesn't deserve to be considered a kidnapper. If he is an abuser, yes, If he's an abuser, one day he will do it again and he will be found guilty and he will go to jail for that. But being told you kidnapped somebody, lied, saying, well, you see I'm getting kind of upset about this. Look, Alberto Del Rio, if he's an abuser, eventually will abuse again and he'll get his ass in trouble. Sooner or later, he's going to get found guilty of that and he will pay for his justice if he's a heavy abuser. If he hasn't tried to straighten himself out, or if he was never an abuser very much, or at all. We don't know. We just have hearsay or whatever information we got, just how it is. I'm just saying. But he's not guilty of kidnapping. He was accused of it. It was wrong. And I'm glad to see he's exonerated of that. And that's important to a lot of people out there, because there's a lot of people, good innocent people, that are being accused of stuff they're not supposed to be accused. And yes, there are also people out there that are being accused of stuff and they didn't do it. But are they good people? Maybe not. They could be terrible people. They could be an ass. But they don't deserve to be accused of something they didn't do either. Put people in jail for what they've done. Not because, well, they deserve to be in jail. There's a reason why there's a due process compared to the Salem witch hunts. If you never heard of that, give it a little history. Back in the 16, 15, and 1400s. Well, I'll take that back. In the 1600s, in Salem, Massachusetts, if you've never heard of it, in Massachusetts, they had a hanging jury. Well, not even a jury. They didn't have any jury. They had the system where if hearsay about you is brought up, you could be accused with no proof, no witnesses, nothing. The witch hunts were hunting down women, or in some cases a few men, if there seems to be something special about them, or if they seem to be suspicious in some way. Someone will bring up something, and the way the people were there, they would kill them. They would put them through a trial of drowning. If you were righteous, you would float up even though you had rocks tied to your legs. You would be burned. And if you didn't get burned, if you were righteous, you wouldn't get burned at all about anything. You would live. They would do stuff like that. And only, in the 1680s did they finally stop doing that and actually created what we know now as the jury system, where there must be people who must look over the evidence, if there's any evidence, and make a determination on facts, but not about emotion, not about religion, not about hatred in somebody, just honest facts to find out the truth of what happened and not let innocent people go to their deaths. And this is what I find to be the best thing. Alberto Del Rio is not perfect. If he did abuse Paige, which many people, and there's been video evidence that showed that, yeah, he wasn't being good to Paige. It looks like he was abusing her to a certain extent. And I've seen a couple of videos where she was doing it right back to a certain extent. Of course, his is this. Hers may be about like this. It is a stark difference of how much abuse is being done between the two. Because someone's going to abuse you back if you abuse them. It will happen. But the point is, yes, he was an abuser in his relationship or relationships. But he didn't deserve to be put on trial for fake kidnapping. I'm not condoning anything he's done. It's just so good to see that due process finally came right. That this woman said, okay, I'm done. I lied. But it's just me, and I hope you enjoyed this Gump report. Give me a comment below, and I hope you enjoy it. Peace.